And we live.
If it works, it works.
All right, we're live?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, we are
Hello.
about to jump into the episode. We're going to play the tune because we know you're all waiting for it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to jump right
you see it?
into our monthly
Where are you?
recap.
Go to YouTube.
Okay, I'll find it.
No,
Let's go.
no.
Play the tune. Give the people what they want.
Let's go to my name. Silence, right? Oh, wait. Let's print.
You can print. I'm good.
Hello.
Hello.
Entertain
Welcome
the people.
to the Two Nice Jewish Boys podcast. We are so happy you joined us for this lovely monthly recap. We're about to get started, guys. We're going to talk about the Delta variant ushering back new restrictions. We're going to be talking about how the NSO helped Morocco spy on Macron, the French president.
Yeah.
What the
Allegedly.
hell? Allegedly. Of course, everything NSO does is allegedly. As far as they're concerned, they sell ice cream. And we're going to talk about a lot more. New taxes in Israel. Noah's got some great stories from Italy. He was recently in Italy. He managed to escape.
Yeah.
And an old guest of ours that was arrested in Nigeria.
Yeah. Do you hear this noise or only I hear it? It's only me?
The voice in your head, only you, man.
Okay.
Don't do what it tells you to do.
Okay.
Remember
okay,
last time?
okay.
It got you in trouble,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. It
That
ended
kid will
very-
never come back, okay?
Yeah.
We'll never get him back.
I did do time for that one, so.
Yeah, you paid your dues. You paid your dues. All right, guys, before we get started,
Yes, I want to tell you about this cool initiative. I hear myself very badly.
is that like is it a hearing thing? Is it there you go. There you go. Now you hear better?
No, but never mind.
We'll
If you
live
hear
with
me
it.
well, then we're good. So anyway, I wanted to tell you about this cool initiative by a lady. She's called Carolyn Siegel. She lives in LA. And she came up with this amazing idea. It's called If You Heard What I Heard. You can find them at ifyouheardwhatiheard.com. And what she realized is so many third-generation American Jews heard the stories of Holocaust from their grandparents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now some of those grandparents, unfortunately, are gone. And so many things are happening right now in America with the rise of anti-Semitism. And she realized maybe we need to strengthen our memory in what happened. Maybe the third generation needs to really think hard about what happened and remember and
help
take some lessons.
pass the light on.
Yeah, and take lessons from our
Carry the
grandparents
torch.
because we always criticize them. That's my interpretation, okay? It's not the official explanation, but we always criticize our grandparents or the Holocaust, people who were in the Holocaust. How didn't you realize what's going on? Why didn't you take your things and leave, right?
Yeah.
And you never know when is the time to leave, right? So that's to me that's what this project is all about. But you can go and find
If you
your
heard
meaning.
what I heard.com.
So she interviews grandsons of Holocaust survivors, and there's an educational program as well, and it's very honest, open discussion about memory and about this generation that we all love. And I thought it's a very nice initiative. So
Amazing.
I
So
wanted
check
to
'em out,
recommend.
guys. Check them out.
people-
If you heard what I heard.com.
That's all
And
the
help
problem.
carry the torch forward. So let's jump in.
Yeah, what a month. Let me start with my Italy story. I have to get it off my chest.
All right, go. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so I took a train to Rome. I was in Rome, and when I go to a new city or when I'm vacationing, I like to go to Facebook events and see what events are there. And since I speak Italian, I can go to Italian-speaking events. So I saw there's a poetry slam event.
Wow.
Okay. And I went.
That sounds like the worst thing in the world.
No, why? I never
That's
go
the
here
last
in Israel.
thing I do in Rome. Actually,
I never
the
go
truth
in
is,
Israel,
The only
but-
thing I do in Rome is eat pasta. But
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I'm there, I always like to practice my Italian. So it's the
Okay.
perfect occasion. I went there and I found myself, me and just 50 young Romans, hipsters, and all kinds of Roman young
It's so weird
people.
to call them Romans.
Yeah. But I was really the only one who didn't belong, and I
Okay.
felt cool. And I started to talk to this guy. He started to talk to me. We were standing in line for beer, and Italians are very friendly, so we became like friends immediately. And it was very nice. He introduced me to his friends, and we chilled. We drank beer, and after he drank a few beers,
Uh-oh.
at a certain point, after it's like the middle of the evening, and it's so much fun, and we just talked about, and of course they know I'm from Israel, and just out of nowhere he goes, "Now, what do you think about the protocols of the elders of Zion?"
It's just good, good like evening chat material.
And I'm like, I mean, what's there to think? It's like it's a forged document. I mean,
Allegedly, according to you.
I mean,
Okay, so what did you say to him?
I said, I don't know what I should think. It's
It's fake.
Why? Yeah, why do you like? No, because it has very interesting things in it. I wanted to know what you think about it. Do you think it's true? And I was like, no, it's just lies. And then from the conversation, you could realize he's a big believer
In the elders of
in
Zion.
the elders of
the
Zion.
protocols.
He's a huge anti-Israeli.
Yeah?
Yes, he was like, he's sure we control the world, and
Just
stuff
a
like that.
Blatant anti-Semite. So, but how do you explain that
But-
he got along so well with you?
Because that's the thing, he doesn't understand he's an anti-Semite.
But he doesn't understand that you're a Semite. He doesn't understand that you're Jewish. He knew you're Jewish.
Yeah,
He knew you're from Israel.
Yeah,
So how do you explain that he loves the protocols of Zion, of the elders of Zion, and he's like, that's his like bedtime reading, but he
I don't
got
know.
a beer with you and got drunk with you.
I don't know, because I guess there's the theory and there's the practice. So maybe he's not the type who will make a concentration camp and shoot all the Jews, right?
Himself.
Himself.
He'll
He'll
support
it, but he'll never do it, right?
Wow.
Or I don't know.
Maybe that might be it, right? There's like different levels of hatred and evil and right and
Yeah.
And doing bad shit. So
Yeah.
and anti-Semitism. So some people are willing to actually, put their money where their mouth is. Hitler.
Is our
And
broadcast
yeah, no,
working,
it's
by the
running.
way?
It's running. Some people are willing to put their money where their mouth is, and some people are just kind of spewing the hatred. That's crazy. But how many do you like? How representative do you think he is of Italian society?
I'm not. I don't think he represents Italian society, but there are few disturbing things here. First of all, you never know. Like, I was lucky enough that he told me, like, he might as well hide it from me, and I would stay friends with him, and I would never know that,
Well, you
right?
had a few beers.
Yeah. So you never know how many people hide those
Yeah.
opinions. But it hits you really, really hard because I'd call it like soft-ish anti-Semitism. Okay, it's not like kill all the Jews. No, it's much more.
Reading the protocols of the elders of Zion
Yeah.
is pretty hardcore
It's
anti-Semitism.
pretty hardcore. Yeah, it's pretty
not,
hardcore.
I mean, it's not like hardcore, like actualizing your anti-Semitism
Yeah.
by going to kill Jews, but it's hardcore.
Right.
Like, not many people read the protocols of the elders of Zion.
Yeah. And I must admit that I don't know what they teach you in school. I don't remember what they teach you here in school, but I wasn't very educated. I mean, I guess I knew, but I didn't realize there's an actual text. It's forged,
Yeah.
but there's the actual text.
Yeah, Henry Ford. You know Henry Ford, the
Yeah.
automaker in the United States. He's an infamous anti-Semite, and he printed like a couple thousand, I
Right.
think, and distributed them.
Yeah.
Like,
And then I went and educated myself, and I read about it, and it's fascinating, like how it came to be. Like it evolved from other old texts, and it's fascinating, really. How there's a whole story behind it. Like it started as a French text, and then the Russian took it, and they translated it, and it's crazy, the story.
That's
and I didn't
insane.
know about it.
That's insane.
So I urge you guys to read about the protocols.
read the elders of
No,
the
read-
protocols of the
read
elders.
the
of
Wikipedia.
Zion.
But so that's disturbing, and it's very disturbing how you're just going about your business abroad, and it hits you in the face, on the nose,
Yeah,
right? It's such a
it's a wake up call.
it leaves you without words, really.
Yeah,
And with very deep thoughts. I'm having so much fun in Italy, and then it hits you that
that you're a Jew.
only
and
that you're a
people hate
Jew.
you.
Yeah, and
But you know, could have been worse.
sure.
You know,
But-
like you could have been drinking a mojito instead of a beer.
True.
You could have.
Though I love mojito, but
Yeah.
anyway, it was very disturbing. So that's my little story from Italy.
Wow, it's tragedy. It's a real tragedy. No, but it's pretty insane how comfortable some anti-Semites are like willing to just expose themselves like that, like it's not, I don't think he even realizes maybe how anti-Semitic it is, right?
He
Maybe he
doesn't.
doesn't even know.
He doesn't,
Yeah, I'm hearing that sound now.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to do something about it real quick.
So, other than that, we wanted to talk about the Delta variant and the restrictions that are being reintroduced here in Israel. If you guys haven't been following the Israeli news, well, worldwide, there's the Delta variant, and things are on the rise as far as COVID is concerned. So cases are on the rise. Although, deaths are not on the rise, right? Deaths are staying pretty much not flat, but they're much, much lower than when the wave was at the same point at the height of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't stop many governments across the world, and including Israel, bringing back restrictions, which just goes to show it's gone. Which just goes to show that, this isn't really about COVID, as far as I'm concerned. It's just a power grab. That's what it is. When you look both at the Biden administration and the administration here in Israel, the Bennett government, the Bennett-Lapid government, they don't really care about how many people are dying or about saving lives. It's all about implementing restrictions in order to present a certain, portray a certain stance. I'm against COVID. I care for the people. I don't want, I'm fighting COVID.
No, he's afraid that the hospitals will be filled with severe cases, and then it'll be on his watch that it happens.
Yeah, that might be part of it. But the problem is that it's the new norm.
Although,
right?
look, it's a bit more complicated right now, because Bennett is quoted saying, that he doesn't want lockdowns no matter what. Now we'll see if he actually withholds that statement. But that's the latest.
Yeah, but that's
quotes
what's
from him,
crazy is that it's not
that it's on the table.
No, that lockdowns are now mask mandates is also a ridiculous idea. It's just a ridiculous idea that the government would force you to wear a mask to begin with, but especially now there is absolutely no excuse to force children in some cases, which doesn't make any sense, to wear masks.
Yeah, I agree.
So basically, in Israel now,
I wear mask like when I'm in the bus. I think
yeah,
it's not a bad thing to wear a mask if you want to feel protected and if you want to, I don't know, feel protected mostly.
I don't wear a mask anymore. I see no reason to wear a mask. I'm vaccinated. Most of this country is vaccinated. Yes, I can catch the Delta variant, but maybe. But there's much less likelihood that I'll catch it, and there's much less likelihood that I'll develop any serious illness, and there's 0 to no chance that I'll die. So no, I'm not going to wear a mask.
That's your call.
And it doesn't
I don't
make
think
any
you
sense.
should be forced to.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with people wearing masks. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's not like I'm anti-mask. Like, wear a mask if you want to.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to have them mandated. I can't go to work without wearing a mask. Today I went to the doctor's office. I can't enter there without wearing a mask. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And you know, the funny thing is, I've had conversations with friends recently. By the way, guys, if you guys are watching, feel free to comment, share your opinions, ask questions, whatever you want.
I only see one
in
viewer,
the comment
though.
session. You can also just send us hate messages. You know,
Yeah,
if you
we'll read
feel like-
anything.
Yeah, we'll read it. If you send us, oh my God, you guys are idiots.
If you're listening
we'll read it.
If you're yeah, gladly. But this is live exclusively on YouTube, guys. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, then go right now and subscribe so you can watch. Oh, here we go. Ron Compton. Hi, guys. Love the show. Thank you, Ron.
That's so nice, especially since we urged him to call us idiots.
And especially since he's the only one watching, right? You see also one guy watches?
No, three.
Oh, okay.
But
3.
you should
Your mom, my mom, and
you should
and Ron.
emphasize more how little viewership we have.
Yeah.
No, but guys.
Yeah.
I'm in
Recently
L-
did a response video.
Yeah, so wait, actually Ron wrote, I'm in LA and they have brought back the mandatory indoor face masking. Yeah, so that's the same here, Ron. And really it's just it's frustrating, but what's most frustrating is that I talk to friends in the States and the argument is, "Oh, come on, it's just a mask."
Yeah. And it's for the greater good.
No. Their argument is, "Oh, come on, it's just a mask," and you don't care about human lives. So on one hand, it's just a mask. On the other hand, it's millions of dead.
Yeah.
So it's like you're a genocidal maniac, right? Who doesn't care about the human race if you're talking about how mask mandates are anti-liberal. And it doesn't make any sense because there's, for example, the drunk driving analogy, right? Now, like everybody's talking about this. Like if you don't get vaxxed or if you don't wear a mask, it's like drunk driving. Like you can force people to get vaccinated or to wear a mask. There was a governor in the United States. I don't think it was Gavin Newsom in California, but there was some politician in the United States who was talking about how it's drunk driving, right? You can't get on the road and drive drunk. So then, why can't we force people to get vaccinated? And it's just a ridiculous analogy to me. Don't you think?
Yeah, but explain why to the audience.
It's ridiculous because when you get in a car and you're drunk, like on one hand you have you're saying a guy gets drunk, intoxicated, and consciously gets uses a deadly weapon, because a car is considered a deadly weapon according to American law. Uses a deadly weapon and causes the death of another individual, right? Yeah. So he's
he willingly drank, and
he willingly drinks, gets intoxicated, and uses a deadly weapon to murder another human being.
So I think the right analogy is if you know you have COVID and you go to a concert.
No.
When you're sick with COVID, why not? Why not?
Because it's still not the same. It's still not the same.
Why?
If you know you have COVID, right? It's still not the same.
What's the moral thing to do if you know you have COVID?
The best thing to do would probably be to stay home.
Okay.
The best thing. I don't know if
Right.
it's not I don't know if it's an issue of morality, because It's not.
Is getting in the car drunk
No,
is an
because-
issue of morality?
Because you don't know the transmissibility of COVID and how contagious you are to other people.
Yeah, but
so yeah, you might
you
say I'm
assume-
sick. I
Yeah.
have COVID. I'm not going to be around old people. Again, I think it's probably best you stay home and you stay away from your parents, right?
Okay.
But to go to a concert might be a bit irresponsible. Might be very irresponsible, but it's not the same level as getting into a car.
That's debatable. It's debatable.
Come on.
It's debatable.
No.
If you know, if
It's
I
not,
don't know.
It's not a deadly weapon in the same sense that that a car is a deadly weapon. It's not.
I'm not sure.
So then, where do you draw the line?
There. When
mean,
you know
so-
you're sick.
So if
That's
you
the
know
thing.
you
That's
have
the
if you
problem.
know you have the flu, can you go to a concert?
I think no. I
So
think
you-
it's not.
It should be
I
illegal.
mean, that's another question. That's another question.
exactly the
But I
point,
think
is
we
you
should
can't-
stick to what's the right thing to do. Okay, and
Yeah.
the right thing to do if you're sick with the flu or with COVID is to stay home. Like
Yeah.
otherwise, you're an asshole.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
an asshole. I'm comfortable calling you an asshole. I'm not comfortable.
You're
saying
always
that-
comfortable calling me. Wait, we
not
have
comfort-
tons of comments.
I'm not comfortable saying that it should be illegal.
Kuzma, you're the best. Thank you. Thank you, Kuzma. Ellie Cohen. Not that Ellie Cohen, apparently. Big fans, guys.
Maybe,
Thank you.
Maybe he's commenting on our YouTube video from the beyond, from the great beyond.
Oh, that's sad.
He's got nothing to do. Ellie Cohen guy was a spy in Syria. You all probably know since the Netflix.
A good spy.
Yeah.
Shaw
good spy.
Boy loves, you're not alone, guys. Thank you. Ron says, yes, it was Newsom. Ellie Cohen again. You would have thought the vaccines would bring us back to normality, but apparently not. Yes, it's sad, but I think that soon they'll have like an update or for the Delta variant.
But that is exactly the point. Is that it's the new norm. Restrictions are the new norm.
Yeah.
There is no going back to. I mean, there is hope to go back to normality, but the problem
It's
is
always
that
on the
we all
table.
that we all were complacent with a ridiculous level of stripping of individual liberties. We were all
Yeah.
just okay, yeah, sure, it's
Today
necessary.
in Australia, I read they're in lockdown for a month already because of
Yeah.
100 cases. And today there was this headline: the lockdown failed. 100 more people are sick. Lockdown is extended by another month. Police is guarding a building, guys. Google it. Police is guarding a building with sick COVID patients. The police are guarding the building.
Meaning they're in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Australia is, and nobody's getting vaccinated there. There aren't vaccines, and it's just months and months of lockdown. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, enough about that.
Shaul commented, it's the exact same thing. You're endangering other human beings. I think he's referring to the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to understand there's a difference in endangering other human beings. I'm endangering other human beings the second I get on the road every day. I'm endangering other human beings, and I'm endangering other human beings if I throw a piano outside of my window. But those are different levels of endangering other human beings. And that's exactly the point, is that if you can't draw a clear line, and I think that it's ridiculous to suggest that if someone goes with the flu to the concert, that they should be held legally responsible, right? They should be criminally responsible. It's the same, I think, with COVID.
I think it's debatable. It's debatable. But now there's a whole mess with Ifat Shasha Bitton, who's the Minister of Education. She's called a COVID denier because up until now, the Ministry of Health clerks would come to the government, shout that we're all going to die, like give more restrictions, and all the ministers would just do as they're told. But she is trying to, I don't know, debate about it and try to bring another opinion,
perspective.
another perspective.
Basically, she's saying that we shouldn't vaccinate the kids.
She says
or
she
that we
doesn't
shouldn't
want to
force the kids
vaccinate
to
them in
vaccinate.
school.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, kids are vaccinated in schools in Israel all the time. Like, kids in Israel between first grade and seventh grade, they get like 9 vaccines.
Yeah.
So is this. The only thing is those vaccines are officially
Approved
approved
by
after
the
7
Israeli
years.
version of the FDA.
Yeah, and this approval of the FDA is temporary, right? It's
not even. It's approved only for emergency use.
Yeah.
And I'm not an I got the vaccine myself, guys.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer or anything like that. But and this is another issue around COVID, and we've spoken about this a bunch on past episodes. But the debate has become so politicized that it's impossible to have a free, open discussion. And that is exactly what you need in science.
Right.
And the truth is that the vaccine is an mRNA vaccine. It's the first one to ever be released commercially. And it was released on a global scale. And so, there were tests done, and many, many doctors and many experts agree that it's probably safe. But
we're on YouTube, so be careful what you say next.
Yeah, we might get kicked off for misinformation.
Yeah,
but the point is that we should be able to talk about these things, and I don't think that I don't think people who are against getting the vaccine should be treated as lepers.
David Altman says, "What's your comment on Ben Gvir calling Ahmad Tibi a terrorist?" So Ben Gvir a few days ago called Ahmad Tibi a terrorist. I think he is a terror supporter.
Yeah. I wouldn't go as far as calling him a terrorist, but
he's a terror supporter. There's a very classic speech of Ahmad Tibi, who, guys, if you don't know, is one of the leaders of the Arab Party, the Joint Arab List. He used to be Yasser Arafat's assistant.
You might be able to call him a terrorist.
Yeah, but there's no real proof. He
tomato, really, right?
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
He definitely is pro-terror. There's a video of him in a speech saying the Shaheed is the best thing. The Israeli Arabs, Shaheeds are saints, and they are amazing, and so he shouldn't be according to the law, he shouldn't be.
Let's say I'm
member.
less uncomfortable with calling him a terrorist than with not calling him a terrorist. Right? I guess that's how I would define it.
And Eli Cohen says opinions on the Bennett government, will it last? So just now they couldn't pass a law for legalization of cannabis for the second time. The law didn't pass, so it's a big failure for the coalition. And
now they're trying to pass taxes.
Yeah, so there's going to be a budget. They have to pass a budget. This will be the biggest test of the coalition, Eli. So they're going to have to approve the budget by November. And it's a big problem because so many people want money. There's no money left. Each party has its interests. For example, now they want to open the fruits and vegetable markets to free import from abroad.
Oh no, God forbid.
And the local, because right now
tomatoes from Turkey.
Yes, right. So you guys, if you don't know, right now, you can't import fruits and vegetables from abroad. There are too many taxes. And why? To support the local farmers.
Also milk and eggs.
Yeah. So Lieberman wants to change that, but now the Avodah Party, the Labor Party, which is part of the coalition, they resist the changes because obviously they're representing the farmers. So without their votes, there won't be a budget. So we'll see what happens. Eventually, I think, Eli, to your question, yes, I think the government will last. It will last.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but in the budget, there are good things and there are bad things. So the good thing is if they manage.
Bad things.
So one of the bad things, the good things,
thing?
if they manage to open import of fruits and vegetables, it's amazing. Also, they want to do a whole reform in the, how do you call it in English? I don't know, tkanim, machon tkanim.
The standardization.
Yeah, so in Israel, right, if you want, let's say me and Eitan want to import a pillow from abroad, right? It's not that easy. You need to give it to this government institution that needs to make sure it's safe.
It's a pillow.
Yeah.
So I mean, Machon Tkanim is also responsible for the make sure measurements and units are standardized across Israel. But then obviously it's overreaching as well to call a pillow, for example.
Yeah, and all kinds of anything you want to import, anything has to go
Yeah.
through them.
Yeah.
And this makes importing very expensive, and so you cannot compete with other importers. So what they want to do is simple. They want to say if it's approved in Europe, then it's automatically approved here.
Yeah.
So if they manage to do that, it'll be revolutionary. It will make everything cheaper, just in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's one of the big problems in Israel is the tariffs and the import taxes, basically, on goods. Right? It
Yeah.
doesn't allow for real competition, and electronic devices here, a lot of basic goods like milk and eggs and vegetables, as we mentioned. A lot of cars, automobiles are much more expensive than most Western developed countries like
Right.
the United States. So cars here are generally almost twice as much as they'd be in the States, right?
yeah.
Because there's a tax of almost
Even
100%.
even times 3.
There's a tax, I think, of almost 100%
Yeah,
on
yeah.
vehicles. Yeah.
But they also want to bring new taxes, ridiculous taxes. For example, they want to tax soft drinks, sodas, and because it's unhealthy, and the poor people drink it and they become fat. So you got to tax it
Yeah.
heavily so that poor people will pay more and be more poor.
Yeah, they'll be fat and poor. Now, maybe that'll teach them.
Yeah, and so that's one tax. They want to tax electricity,
Yeah.
and you can't go to the competition because there isn't any competition. They want to tax chadap, like plastic,
Disposable utensils and
Yeah.
plastic forks,
which is
plastic
also
plates.
used mainly by Haredi and
Yeah.
religious families.
Yeah.
Over the weekend when they can't use the dishwasher.
And this is it's like
Again, for the
it's
environment.
just-
And the masks, since there are masks, the environment is
I bought
is
some masks.
done for.
Yeah, I bought some masks the other day, and they were made in China.
Yeah.
I was like,
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys
Interesting.
have seen, by
the
the way, this is
protocols
kind
of the elders
yeah,
of China.
yeah, exactly. But it's less of a conspiracy. The Chinese are trying to take over. But I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's a bit old news right now, but you should watch Jon Stewart on Stephen Colbert about the Wuhan coronavirus
Yeah.
lab. It's hilarious. This is what's amazing, right? Is that like a year passes, and now, there's a positive side to the fact that COVID is still in the news and that it's still a thing. Because if it would have just washed over, and then the news of the Wuhan coronavirus lab and the fact that it's probably a leak and not from a bat, would have just been ignored, right? No one would have heard about it
Yeah.
because no one's talking about COVID anymore. But now people are talking about it, and
So anyway, the taxes are just
the taxes are, and it's becoming. It's like it's normal. It's fine. It makes sense to
no
people.
people are angry about it. There's a big debate about it. People are pretty angry about this tax.
A lot of people are. A lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is
Some people,
kind of-
yes, it's better. It's healthy. The environment, global warming,
Yeah.
Yes, because Israel will stop using plastic. That's what will solve the problems of the environment.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyway.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that that it's normal for the government to stick their hands in things
Yeah.
as trivial as like me selling another person a plastic
What I drink
good.
or what I eat.
A plastic good, or what I drink, a Coke bottle. No, the government needs to regulate that because there's too much sugar.
Yeah.
Like that being the new norm is just incredible to me, right?
Yeah. It's not even regulated. I mean, it's literally making it a rich only product, right?
Yeah.
So the rich, they don't care. They'll
The
drink
rever-
whatever they want.
It's the problem with all of these regulations is that there's a golden rule in sociology, which is the rule of unintended consequences. And everybody's like, yeah, tax sugar. It'll be like, first of all, it's immoral because you shouldn't as a government have say in or beyond illegal activity of transaction between two consenting individuals. But beyond that, it's not going to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Like you're
Yeah.
trying to do some good. You're never going to do good
Yeah.
with the things
The
that you're
butterfly
trying.
effect.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's like minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
They try to instill minimum. What does minimum wage do? It prices poor people out of the market. So basically, you just have more unemployed poor people.
Ellie Cohen says, got some new Ben and Jerry's flavors for you guys that I'm sure you'll enjoy. From the ripple to the sea salt, two-state swirlution.
Nice.
Nice, Ellie.
Yes.
For a dead spy in Syria, you're...
Your humor is pretty current.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I just want to say, guys, we did an episode with Rudy Rochman. We call him Rochman, but he calls himself Rochman. A few months ago, and Rudy went to Nigeria to shoot a documentary about the alleged Jewish community there. And he was arrested by the Secret Service, and now he's in Nigerian prison for almost a month. And he
Crazy.
disappeared from the radar. Like, the
Yeah.
Nigerians literally, obliterated him from the face of the earth.
well, you think he's dead?
No,
Okay.
but still.
So he's in a prison.
Yeah, but, it's
No,
not a
it's
country that
awful.
respects, prisoners' rights.
No.
He's-
It's awful. Don't
yeah.
get me wrong. But what was the
I mean,
story?
you
The
would
story was
you would
that
probably enjoy
I
Nigerian
would
food.
love an. I mean, if it's anywhere as good as last time. No, so the story there is that he was suspected of helping a.
No, it's just because he
No, it
touched a
was-
sensitive subject when
Yeah, he was suspected of helping like an anti-government movement or something,
I
or
don't know.
being in touch with them or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But very disturbing, guys. So just sending our support to Rudy.
Search Rudy Rochman, and
Follow
I think
him on
there's I
Instagram.
think there's a way to help out online. So search it,
Yeah.
and if you guys can help, then be appreciated.
NSO. So this is the biggest thing now in
Yeah.
Israel and in France. So tell people what's NSO. People who don't know.
So NSO is a Israeli company that basically creates spyware, right?
They
Ways
find
to
weaknesses.
software, and they basically hack. They find ways to hack into software and espionage and perform espionage. So get information. So they usually what they do is they usually recruit ex-Israeli intelligence soldiers, right? So many of the people coming out of Israel's famous 8200 unit and other units of military intelligence are recruited by. There's actually a lot of companies like NSO
Yeah.
in Israel, but
In
NSO
Israel,
is
yeah.
one of the
It's
most
biggest
notorious
It's the biggest one.
It's the biggest and most notorious, and they recruit these military intelligence soldiers.
Yeah, and they implement what
They're
they learned
always-
in the IDF. They
Yeah.
implement it into.
So it's
they're always-
obviously a bit of a sketchy area, and they're always getting into trouble. They're always getting into trouble. Those at NSO.
They
But
love
like
trouble.
recently there was a piece on them selling intelligence or
Saudi Arabia.
spyware to Arabic countries
Yeah.
that were possibly passing it on or themselves using it
The
against Israel.
Khashoggi murder, for example, was
Khashoggi.
Yeah.
Khashoggi.
yeah. Which there's a
I'll never
great
be able to
documentary
pronounce his
about
name.
this, by the way. I recommend. It's called The Descendant.
Yeah.
By the same guy who did. Never mind. It's recommended about
Same guy who did what?
who did the Netflix documentary about the Russian sports.
The drugs. The
drug,
drugging,
the
and,
doping.
the doping.
So it's very good. Anyway, so apparently they were involved with this, and now
Icarus. Yeah.
exactly. Thank you. And now, allegedly, they sold their systems to Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we just had the first direct flight from Israel to Morocco. Coincidence? Maybe. But it was historic.
Yeah.
You and I should go to visit your motherland.
My mother's side of the family and half of my father's side of the family is from
Yeah.
Morocco.
Yeah. And Morocco used this tool to spy, allegedly, on French officials, which to me, it's pretty funny because, French France, they're have their hands in. They think they're the masters of Lebanon, that they're the puppet masters in Morocco and all the Algeria,
Yeah.
right? They're still feel themselves as colonizers, and now it bites them in the ass,
Yeah.
which to me is amusing. But anyway, apparently they infiltrated Macron's phone and got everything out of it.
Wow.
And the French are,
You know there's some interesting stuff there.
oh yeah,
It's Macron.
there's the famous, the famous photo. You see him with a black guy without.
Without what?
He doesn't wear a shirt, like very muscly, and you see Macron. He's like hugging him passionately.
Ah, really?
Yeah, yeah.
This leaked
Google
from
it. Google
this,
it.
this leaked
No,
from
it's a famous photo. Google
Ah.
Macron black guy.
Oh no. I think I'm going to find some stuff that I don't really want to see, but okay.
And then describe the audience what you see.
Oh god. Oh god. I'm kind of afraid.
Here it is. This one.
Wow.
This one. Yeah.
Well, what's going on here? Is he just like hanging
Just a
out?
photo up, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to. I don't want to describe this. I'm going to get in trouble for one reason or another.
I've never seen you so happy though.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
You know there's going to be some troublesome stuff on that phone because he's French.
yeah,
He's a politician.
yeah,
And he's short.
yeah,
so
yeah.
there's going to be something there.
Anyway, so now the French demand explanations. The Minister of Defense here, Gantz, just flew to France, and there's it's a big problem. And the French say basically it's Israel's fault because Israel approves any country that NSO gets to export its system to, right? It's like the same level as missile or
Yeah.
arms
Arms deals.
dealership.
Yeah.
And yeah, the problem is there are many companies like NSO, including an Italian company. Maybe there are also French companies, American companies, Israeli companies, and France and all those countries also use those tools.
No, but you know what I say? I say you want Israel to not it's not like France and Morocco are enemies, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want Israel not to support countries that that are gonna spy on you or that might be somewhat hostile towards you. You want Israel to be on your side. Show support, right? France is part of the European Union. The
Yeah.
European Union, day in, day out, bashes Israel for their settlements and for our occupation of Palestinian territories. So
Moreover, they support directly NGOs
Yeah.
that try to take apart this country from within.
yeah, so if you want Israel's, unfaltering support, right? And
Yeah.
we wouldn't even dare give Morocco anything or approve of anything like that. Then show us that support,
Yeah.
right? It's a two-way street.
Yeah, that's what's going on with the state. So Israel forbids NSO to deal with clients who would use the tool against the United States, for example.
Because the United States, I mean, less so than the Trump administration, and less so than when a Democratic
and still,
a Democratic president is in office, but still
yeah,
they show overwhelming support
yeah,
for Israel.
yeah.
So Israel's going to respect that. But France, I mean, what do we get from France? I don't know.
Mainly Jews who flee from there.
Exactly. So screw them. Screw the French. Not like every French person, but just
Yeah.
most of them.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. My landlord is French, so yeah, screw them. Guys, okay, let's read some of the comments. Ellie Cohen,
It's
you're
just Ellie
like
Cohen,
you're our
all over
number
the
one
place.
fan. No, why? We got Mark Fletcher over here. I think I see the lines being drawn against the vaccine and unvaxxed as a type of new apartheid. I hope I'm wrong on this. I wouldn't go as so far as to call it apartheid, because apartheid is usually discriminating against two people based on race or class or something like that. You might be able to say that unvaxxed is kind of like a class thing, but I think you would be hard pressed to actually argue that. I wouldn't call it apartheid, but yeah, I'm very worried about it as well, Mark. I think that, it's worrying that we are forcing people or even passing legislation that
Pressures.
but pressures. I mean, it restricts basic freedoms, right? The ability to go in Israel.
We had the list of the new.
We didn't talk about it, but in
Yeah.
Israel right now they're passing
Tomorrow.
they're passing a law that basically if you have to have a green pass, which means that shows that you're vaxxed or that you had corona and you got over it, in order to go to any of these places, culture and sports events, hotels, gyms, restaurants, cafes, and the most worrying, centers of worship.
Yeah.
That is the most blatant transgression against the freedom of religion,
Yeah.
right?
In the States with this,
I don't think so. No,
it's
no. I don't
unconstitutional.
think so. Even when they pass these kind of laws in the States, they usually have to exclude these things, right? Like recently there was for veterans, right? In order to enter a Veterans Association center, you have to be vaccinated in the States, and they recently passed this, unless you have some kind of health reason or whatever, and one of the exclusions is you have a religious reason, right? Because the First Amendment allows you freedom of religion. And I think that's one of the most important freedoms, and it's really worrying. So basically, Israel is saying you can't go to your place of worship unless you inject yourself with this vaccine.
The thing is, here there's overwhelming support for this. Like, I think there's a huge consensus. And if you try to even debate about it, you're anti-vax. And I'm. You can't call me an anti-vax. I was the first.
Yeah, you were one of the first people that you got
to get it
in your age range.
Yeah, I drove like 2 hours from Tel Aviv to get it before everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm so much for vaccines.
Yeah.
I just don't think I can and should force someone else to take it right now.
But people aren't able to comprehend two ideas at once. It's like everybody's so simple-minded.
But the good counter-argument
is, if you think
is,
it's right, then why don't you support it?
Yeah, but you are forced to take other vaccines. Like you're forced to vaccinate your children, but that's approved vaccines, like fully approved. And then it begs the question: okay, in 2 years when it's fully approved, then it's okay. It's so complicated.
I don't agree. I don't think that. There's the measles, mumps, and rubella, right? MMR vaccines,
and the one that President. The one that makes you handicapped. What's it called?
The polio vaccine.
The polio vaccine also.
Yeah. So and everybody kind of agrees that it's obvious that should be mandated, right? That we should force people to take those vaccines because it's awful. And I'm not sure. I mean, first of all, the whole idea of a vaccine, and this is again where the drunk driving analogy falls apart. The whole idea of a vaccine is that once you've taken it, you're protected. Mm-hmm. So if anybody doesn't want to take it, they're taking it on their own risk.
Yeah.
So
because they can clog the system, the healthcare system.
No, so there's two arguments. There's the clog the healthcare, and then there's the fact that the unvaxxed provide a population of people in which the virus can then mutate into variants and then perhaps create a variant that can overcome the vaccine. But that's just crazy to analogize between, right, drunk driver and then you not wanting to do something, then potentially being a part of a population that causes the evolution of a virus that might overcome the vaccine.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
and you're a murderer.
It's speculative.
It's crazy. So I don't know.
David asks, are you worried about the current situation in Lebanon? I am. I am very worried because every few days you have immigrants trying to cross the border from Lebanon. And Lebanon has 900,000 foreign employers, foreign workers. 900,000, mostly from Africa. So when there's no job...
Then where do they come?
When do they come?
Yeah.
And not to mention Lebanese who will come at our borders, and what will we do?
Yeah.
And right now, 2, 3 each time they cross the border, nothing happens, right? They let them pass, then maybe they catch them, they take them back. But if thousands and tens of thousands come, what will we do?
Yeah, that's like a a specific problem, though, right? You're not worried about because of the situation in Lebanon devolving and then maybe causing friction between Lebanon and Israel.
That too, but that we know
That's a
how to
given.
deal with.
I think, though, that the truth is that while there's internal friction, then maybe there's less likelihood that, right, they will unite against us, or there'll be a unified force enough to be. Meaning, anytime your enemy is falling apart from within, it's probably a good thing for you, right?
Yeah.
The stronger they are in the more united they are, the more of a threat they are to you.
Yeah.
But
I'm more worried about the immigration thing because we don't know how to deal with that. We don't know how to protect our borders.
You really think that's one of the biggest problems?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think we don't know how to protect our borders?
Nope.
Along the north? I mean, there's a fence pretty much along the whole northern border.
It's not that.
I used to patrol
efficient.
that fence. Man.
Exactly. That's my point.
I take personal offense.
Didn't you
to
tell
that.
me what you had the story about?
Let's not talk about it. The army is, you know what? It's a matter of national security that I don't share this story with our wider listenership.
Let's just say that my worries are based.
Legitimate. No, but it's all a matter of alertness, right?
No,
What the level of alertness is. So basically, we're talking about the fact that in the army, guys, 90% of your army service, your military service here in Israel, is guard duty. And what do you do in guard duty when there's no real threat ever present?
Watch movies.
You watch movies, you play games. You're not actually like on guard, alert.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the difference.
This is not like Carthago in the 5000 BC.
Yeah. You're a little off there, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Date wise. But I'm saying that, like, the point is, if there's really a threat and you're alert, then I'm not so sure that we need to be worried about our northern border.
No, but the problem is when they see 100 immigrants, I'm not talking about soldiers, they don't know what to do about that. They won't shoot them.
Man. The truth is, we had a similar problem along the southern border with Sinai.
And now we're stuck with 50,000
because
Africans.
unlike the Egyptians, we were unwilling to use, let's say, deterrent force, right? And shoot people that were coming in, which you might say is a good thing.
But now we're stuck. We're stuck with a huge population of immigrants, and they can't send them back.
The problem also along the southern border is that we couldn't even turn them away, because if you turn them away, the Egyptians would have shot them. A lot of the times, they turn them away from the Israeli border.
Really our problem.
Yeah, but it's hard to say that when a woman and her children are trying to cross the border. It's really hard to say that.
But we can't be the home of the entire Africa's women and children.
I get that, but I don't think I don't agree with that. I think that people seeking asylum from a life and death situation should be taken in. Maybe then there should be they shouldn't necessarily be given a long-term solution here in Israel.
First of all, 80% of the
But if they're
immigrants
running
are men,
away from
men, not women and children.
Which is, by the way, one of the testament to the fact that they're not really running away originally from a life and death situation. They're running away from an economic situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to Egypt, and then they're in a life and death situation because the Egyptians are not afraid to shoot.
Yeah. By the way, according to international law, you're a refugee in the first state that you enter, which is Egypt. So in Egypt, they're refugees, not here.
Yeah.
We have more comments.
Guys, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Let's see what Adam says.
Perhaps it's more comparable to you not taking your car to the annual checkups and not installing safety technologies. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's comparable. But still, I'm not sure, right? Because there's severe negligence, right?
Yeah.
And the truth is, you know what? I'm kind of against the whole government regulation of of annual checkups and stuff like that. I'm not sure that it's even so. Yeah, I don't think that we should be mandating. It needs
to be your responsibility, and if you f up, then you need to pay the price.
I don't think there's any real data to back up the fact that, because we have annual checkups for cars, there's less deaths on the road or anything like that. I think that, and generally, a lot of the times these annual checkups, they don't actually I take my car to an annual checkup. It's not like they're going to find the problem and say, oh, this car is going to kill someone in 7 months.
Right.
Right? Like in the end, something's going to break on the road and it's going to cause an accident.
Unless it's a Tesla.
Yeah, unless it's a Tesla. So I'm not sure that I would even, I'm not sure that that's, maybe it's analogous, but yeah, I also don't think that the government should put their hands there as well.
Okay, let's wrap things up. Anything else we need to discuss before
there's so much more,
go?
guys, but
we
we'll
did
have
2
to
reaction videos to
Yeah.
the Ben and Jerry story, guys, on our YouTube channel.
check them out.
And 1 to the recent episode with Joe Rogan and Abby Martin. Right?
Yes. Abby Martin went on the Joe Rogan show and spewed some awful
3
awful
hours
lies.
of
Just 3 hours of lies. And really, and Joe Rogan going, yeah, and Abby Martin just being like, Israel's committing genocide
Yeah.
genocide against the people who were 800,000 70 years ago and are now 4.5 million. So yeah, we're doing a really good job of genociding them. Anyway, so Abby Martin spewing lies on the Joe Rogan podcast. Check out our reaction. What else? We did a Ben and Jerry's
Ben
reaction.
and Jerry's reaction. Yes.
And of course, if you haven't seen the John Oliver reaction
yes,
video,
a classic.
our classic, check it out.
That's it, guys.
Yes, we have some new episodes coming out soon. Okay,
Do
check
we?
out. We do every week.
Yeah.
2 Nice Jewish Boys podcast, and we have great content from the past. Check it out. We've had amazing guests. So if you're a new listener, check out our podcast, 2 Nice Jewish Boys, 2njb.com. You can find them anywhere you find your podcast.
Yes. Also, thanks to Arutz Sheva, although I need to make sure they still post our things. Arutz Sheva, IsraelNationalNews.com, and of course the Australian Jewish News, AJN.timesofisrael.com.
And I feel like we should thank Ron Compton, Adam, Albilia, David, Ellie Cohen, of course. Ellie, you're a gem. Mark Fletcher, Shaul, all you guys.
Shout
Kuzma,
out.
thank you so much for participating and
Yeah.
for asking questions. You guys are the best. Tune in. We'll be back next month with a monthly recap and every week with a new episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.